real purpose of Prep for Prep is to create the next generation of leaders. Not just leaders who excel in their field, but also leaders who have integrity and a strong moral compass.
My name is Albert Chi. I am a member of Contingent 35. I graduated the Buckley School and I am currently a senior at Grace Church School. I'm excited to head to Caltech this fall to study chemical engineering. I'm passionate about climate change because we have reached a point where we can cause irreparable damage to our planet. To combat global warming, I built a machine which captures carbon dioxide and turns it into useful products. I've called it Carby. Carby uses direct air capture technology, more specifically a humidity swing sorbent, to capture carbon dioxide from the air.
My name is Omaira Ortega. I am in Prep for Prep 9, Contingent 5. I went to Milton Academy, Pomona College, and then I got my doctorate in mathematics at the University of Iowa. I am an assistant professor of mathematics and statistics at Sonoma State University. My research focus is in both biostatistics and mathematical modeling. I use both of those fields to model the spread of infectious disease. I love mathematics. I really believe that mathematics is the language of nature. We are a fractal.
My name is Yahonas Cleary. I'm a member of Prep 9 Contingent 5. I graduated from Choate in 1996 and Columbia in 2000. After Columbia, I went to Oxford on a Marshall Scholarship, and then I later graduated from Yale Law School. Marcy and I met in law school. We have two daughters, Maya, who's 4 years old, and Lena, who's 2 years old. Maya's going to go to Chapin next fall. We're really excited about it. Chapin is a great school. And it's amazing to me that now I've come full circle. 30 years ago, I had no idea what Choate was. I had no idea what Chapin was. And now I'm a Choate alum sending my daughter to Chapin. I'm a litigation partner at Paul Weiss. My practice is general commercial defense. I've done a lot of trial work, and winning trials is always a lot of fun. I've also done a lot of meaningful pro bono work. I represented a client who had been sentenced to 20 years in prison for a nonviolent drug offense, and through President Obama's clemency initiative, his sentence was nearly cut in half. In one matter, we worked with organizations challenging the New York Police Department's stop and frisk practices. In another matter, we submitted an amicus brief to the Supreme Court challenging affirmative action. Our brief talked about the important role of affirmative action in higher education and promoting diversity in the legal profession.
My parents came to the United States in the 80s to escape an oppressive Burmese government in Myanmar. My mom and dad would only eat 2 meals a day for a long time and worked multiple jobs at a laundromat and at a machine shop just to make sure that I could afford to live in a good school district. Their struggle has really encouraged me to do more with my life and the opportunities that I get.
My parents are both from Panama. They're from humble beginnings. My mother was a flight attendant. My father was a superintendent in a building complex. I have 2 older brothers. We didn't have very much growing up, but we definitely had each other. Going to prep was a great adventure for me. I grew up in Far Rockaway, Queens, so this was this liberating adventure because I was going on the train by myself. I loved being surrounded by really smart peers. I remember thinking, like, everybody's nerdy. This is fantastic.
I was born in Massachusetts, but I grew up in the Bronx. My mother's a nurse, and my father runs a business that supplies barbershops and hair salons. I have 7 siblings. 2 siblings are prep alum, both have doctorates, one in chemical engineering, the other in physical therapy. We like school. South Bronx was a tough neighborhood. We lived in public housing. We saw violence, we saw drugs, but I didn't have anything to compare it to, and our parents did a good job of keeping us out of trouble. For me, one of the most defining things about the preparatory component was how difficult it was. I graduated from Columbia with nearly a 4.0 GPA, but at prep I got C's and D's.
When I started my undergraduate degree, I had a difficult time. And I didn't really have a difficult time, I had a really fun time. I was suspended and I went to a community college for 1 year. And during that year, I worked in a bagel shop where I started working at 3 in the morning and I'd work a full day until 11, and then I'd take the bus to my community college and then take a full day of classes. And I did that every day for a full year. And it was tough, but I got through it, and I was eventually readmitted into Pomona College and I could finish my degree there. Women of color in mathematics are sorely underrepresented. Less than 1% of the PhDs in the United States are given to Latinas. When I heard that statistic, I was mortified, and I knew that I needed to change that. I've created an undergraduate research group that focuses on women of color. I know that without mentors, I wouldn't be where I am today. One of the students in my research group, she lacked confidence in herself and her abilities, and we worked together for 3 years. What was so gratifying about that experience is that the student went on to get a PhD in artificial intelligence.
I think a lot of prep alum like me attribute a lot of their academic and professional success to prep, and so we feel strongly about giving back. Before law school, I spent several years working in the nonprofit sector, and even since I've become a lawyer in private practice, I do a lot of mentoring of young lawyers.
One of my most important ways of giving back to Prep for Prep is through the Saturday Academy for Young Children. Saturday Academy is a program where Prep for Prep high school students set a curriculum and tutor students from underserved public schools in the hope that they become better learners and better members of their community. Saturday Academy is hosted at PS 188, and it's especially important for us to be there because the student body there is roughly 50% homeless. And we want to make sure that the students there continue to be engaged in their education, not just in middle school, but in the years and decades to come.
For me, aside from family, Prep for Prep was probably the most significant factor in my academic and professional success. So I'm proud to have joined the board of Prep for Prep last year.
I think prep alums are so invested in giving back because so much has been given to them. And so they want to recognize and acknowledge this great gift that's been given to them, and they realize that they can do that by giving back.